نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد عن أبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله تعالى عنه قال قال النساء للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم غلبنا عليك الرجال فاجعل لنا يوما من نفسك فوعدهن يوما لقيهن فيه فوعدهن وأمرهن فكان فيما قال لهم ما منكن امرأة تقدم ثلاثة من ولدها إلا كان لها حجاب من النار فقالت امرأة واثنين فقال واثنين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي يا ربي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. My respected elders, brothers, friends, and my honorable brothers and sisters, at this very moment we are all sitting in the circle of hadith of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the masjid. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept this gathering and may He make it means of source of our coming close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it source and means of gaining Allah's pleasure. The hadith which I will be explaining to you now has been narrated by Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. He mentions that on occasion the ladies, the women, they requested Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and they said to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that look, the men, they have taken all your time, meaning they have the opportunity to listen to your sermons. They come to the masjid and you instruct them, you advise them all the time they are here listening to you. Please, could you fix a day for us so that you can give us advice, you can deliver, talk to us. Just fix one day for us. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for wa'adahunna, he promised the woman that, okay, fine, I will fix a day for you in which I will meet you. So the day was fixed and Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he met the women and he instructed them and he said what he had to say, and in duration of his talk what he mentioned to the women was فَكَانَ فِي مَقَالَ لَهُمْ. Duration of this talk, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to them, مَا مِنْكُنَّ إِمْرَأَةٌ تُقَدِّمُ ثَلَاثَةً مِّنْ وَلَدِهَا إِلَّا كَانَ لَهَا حِجَابٌ مِّنَ النَّارِ. In this talk, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, any woman who has lost 3 of her children, meaning 3 infants, those children who passed away before the age of puberty, these very children will shield her, the parents, on the day of judgment from the hellfire. They will protect the parents. The children, we should always keep in our mind, they are an asset for parents. If they grow up, that's good. They're still an asset for the parents in terms of dunya, if they're not religious, but still in terms of dunya, they are asset for the parents. They become the supporter of the parents. And if they are religious, pious, then nur ala nur. And then they will become source and means of treasure and reward for the parents. If we look at the dua of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam for an infant when he passes away, boy or a girl, the dua he taught us is Allahumma ja'alhu lana farada waj'alhu lana ajran wa dhukhra waj'alhu lana shafi'an wa mushaffa'a, which means that, O Allah, make this child source of salvation for us on the Day of Judgment. O Allah, make him source of reward and treasure for us on the Day of Judgment. Waj'alhu lana shafi'an wa mushaffa'a. O Allah, make him intercessor for us on the Day of Judgment, and make him such intercessor that whose intercession is accepted in your court. Now, one thing we need to keep in our mind, this always comes in our mind if a very infant dies, and then he will become a source of salvation for the parents, and then due to his death, Allah will enter the parents to paradise. We should keep in our mind, any child, boy or girl, dies before he becomes mature, before the age of puberty, which means if a child is 9 years old and he hasn't reached the age of puberty and he dies, he will become a source of salvation for the parents. A child, if he's 10 years old and he's not mature yet and he hasn't crossed the age of puberty, then still he will become a source of salvation and means of reward and treasure for the parents on the Day of Judgment, and he will do this of shafa'at for the parents on the Day of Judgment. And there's a hadith of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in which says on the Day of Judgment, some children will be holding in their hands glasses of water from paradise, and they will be walking in the plain of resurrection, and people will be thirsty and they will be looking for the water, and when they will come across these children who are holding in their hands the glasses of water of paradise, they will say to them and they will request them, please hand us over the water, give us the water, we are too thirsty, our lips are dry, our tongues are dry. And they will reply, these children will say, these glasses of water are not for you people, we are searching our parents. At the moment we can't find them anywhere here. We will just search, they are here somewhere, we can't find them. This water is for them. And in another hadith of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, in which he says, some children will be standing by the doors of paradise, and they will be saying, people will be entering and they will be saying, we will not enter into paradise until our parents have been granted the permission to enter paradise. They will enter only when the parents have been given the permission to enter paradise. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through these infants and through these children who died as minors, He will enter admit the parents into the paradise. So in this hadith, our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, any parents who lost three children, who were infant, who were minors, and then there will be shield for them on the Day of Judgment. Now then, a woman asked, she said, O Prophet of Allah, you mentioned three children who died, they will become source and means of salvation for the parents. What about parents who have lost 2 children? What do you say about this? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied, "Wathnain, faqar wathnain." Even 2. If any parents who've lost 2 children, who were infant, who were before the age of puberty, these 2 children will take their parents into paradise. Into paradise. In this hadith, this is only mentioned 3 children and 2 children. In another hadith narrated by Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a gathering was saying, anyone who have lost 2 children, these children will shield the parents from the hellfire. Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha asked Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, O Prophet of Allah, what if someone has lost 1 child? So what about him? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even if any parents lost 1 child, this 1 child will take them into paradise. Now, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shower His mercy upon the grave of Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha. She is our mother, she is the mother of all the believers. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of Qiyamah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us her intercession and for us, for our mothers and for our sisters and all the Muslim women. She asked another question. She said, O Prophet of Allah, now you've mentioned someone lost 3 children, they will take the parents into Jannah. Someone lost 2 children, they will take into paradise. Someone lost 1 child, he will take into, or she will take the parents to paradise. Now, in this dunya, there are some people who don't have any children, or they have children, but they haven't lost any children. The children grew up, none of them died. They all grew up. So what do you say about that person who never had any children, or he had children, but they grew up? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied, he said, anyone who have not lost any children, or he never had any children, then I am an asset for him on the day of judgment. I am for him. I will intercede for him on the day of judgment. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said the loss that occurs due to my death is far more greater than the loss of one's family and children. And he said in a hadith, when anyone is experiencing hardship, then he should think of my death. He should think of my death. Why? Because the sorrow which is felt upon the death of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is more greater than the sorrow that is felt upon the death of anyone's family member who has passed away. Hazrat Anas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, you know what he said? He said, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam entered Madinatul Munawwara, everything became bright. And the day he passed away, everything became dark. And he says that after we had buried Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, yet we had not dusted off the dust from our hands. The dust was on our hands. We started feeling the changes in our hearts. And my respected brother, Rabiul Awwal is the very month, which reminds us that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born in this very month. We should keep another thing in our mind, and that is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was also passed away in this very month. The majority of the ulama, they say the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was born on the 12th of Rabiul Awwal, and he also passed away on the 12th of Rabiul Awwal. Now you tell me what happens, just to explain this. If someone's house, the wedding is going on, Now, suddenly someone passes away in that very family. What happens? They wrap up everything. They forget all the wedding. Then the sorrow comes in, the sadness and the grief comes in, and people start weeping over their deceased. They forget they cancel everything, all the wedding, everything. If this is happening with our family members, friends, when the death of someone in the family occurs while the ceremony of the wedding was going on, we wrap up everything, we cancel the wedding, everything, and we start grieving upon our deceased. What about the Prophet ﷺ in the very same month in which he was born? He also passed away in that very month. In that very month. So could it be wise to go and march in the streets in the month in which Rasulullah ﷺ passed away? Rasulullah ﷺ, he was born and he passed away in this very month. This should remind us that our Prophet ﷺ, Ayman, once Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu and Hazrat Farouk, they went to meet Hazrat Ayman, and she started crying. And they said, why are you crying? She said, I'm crying when my beloved Prophet ﷺ comes to my mind that he has passed away while he was alive, that wahi revelation used to descend. Now we have lost Prophet ﷺ, and this is making me cry. This is making me cry. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he says, who doesn't have any children or whose children never died in their infancy, and on the day of judgment he shouldn't worry, I am there for him. I am there for him. So my respected elders, how lucky we are that Allah Almighty has granted us Iman, and He has created us in the Ummah of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is our hope that on the day of judgment, if our amals are very weak, we are weak in our amal, in our actions, we have one hope, and that is that on the day of judgment, our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam will intercede for us. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to include us among those for whom Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam will intercede on the day of judgment. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.